and welcome to my Slayerfest 2019 TBR. If you don't know what Slayerfest is, I will leave all the announcement videos down below so you can check them out and see what it's all about. But basically, it is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer themed readathon, and I am so excited to be taking part in this because I loved Buffy as a teenager, practically more than any other TV show. Admittedly, BBC Sherlock came along and I sort of went over Sherlock and semi-forgot about Buffy, but every time I think about it, I still absolutely love it, and I really need a rewatch soon. So what I thought I'd do to try and inspire that rewatch is do the Buffy the Vampire Slayer readathon. Also, it's Halloween, so you kind of have to do some kind of spooky readathon. So without further ado, here is my TBR for it. The first prompt is Buffy, the hero. Read a book with a badass female protagonist. So I'm going to go for the second book in the Dark Vault series. I recently, as of yesterday at time of filming, finished the first book, which is The Archived, and I really enjoyed myself reading it. It wasn't my favourite V.E. Schwab book, I have to admit, but I still really enjoyed myself, and I loved how real the main female protagonist was. So, for Halloween and for this prompt, I will be reading The Unbound. Second prompt is Willow the Wicca, which is to read a witchy book. So I'm going to go with Deathly Hallows, because obviously there are witches and there are wizards. It wouldn't technically go with the witchy sense of like Halloween-y kind of witches, but at the same time, Willow isn't really a Halloween-y type witch, so I guess it kind of counts. Also, I feel like Willow's a bit like Hermione in a couple of ways, so I kind of wanted to honour that. Next prompt is Xander, the loyal sidekick, which is to read one of your go-to authors or reread a favourite book. And so I'm going to go with a go-to author, which is Carrie Hope Fletcher, and reading In the Time We Lost. Obviously, this cover makes it look a bit more like a winter read, but it is coming out this month, and I ain't going to wait till the winter times to read it. I'm going to read it immediately, so I'm going for it for this prompt. Next prompt is Cordelia, the Mean Girl, which is to read a cover by or a beautiful book. And for that, I'm going to go for The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, because I've had this book on my TBR for a very long time. I keep on forgetting it's there. The cover is absolutely beautiful. And I'm also watching Penny Dreadful this month. And I feel like the TV show and that book sort of tie in together, considering they're both dealing with classic horror monsters like Jekyll and Hyde and Frankenstein. So what better time to read it? Next is Giles, the Mentor, which is to read a historical book or a book you think you can learn something from. And so I'm going to go for The Diviners, which is set in the 1920s, if I remember rightly. It's also a bit more spooky and horror-y, so I'm going for it. Next prompt is Oz the Werewolf, which is to read a book with an animal character or a book featuring transfiguration or shape-shifting. So I'm going to go for The Christmasaurus and the Winter Witch, which is obviously a Christmas book. I know full well it's a Christmas book, but again, it comes out this month. I'm not going to leave it, you know? I'm definitely not leaving it until Christmas or anything like that. Also, the animal in question is the Christmasaurus. The book is named after him, so it definitely fits this prompt, even if it's a bit too Christmassy for Halloween, but never mind. Next prompt is Spike the Bad Boy, which is to read a book with a hate to love trope. Now, I don't have any books with this in because generally I do not do hate to love or just romance in general, but I am going to risk it and try to read Grace and Fury because again, this has been on my TBR for a very long time, and I'm pretty sure this has got a hate to love relationship in it or something very close to that, so I'm going for it. Also, it's quite short, so I should be able to get through it quite quickly. Hopefully. Next prompt is Angel the Redeemed, which is to read a book with a brooding / tortured soul trope. Quite frankly, Eddie Herondale works for this, but specifically I'm going to go for Clockwork Princess because obviously that is the next one in the Infernal Devices series. I am currently, at time of filming, reading Clockwork Prince, so I should probably finish this. Also, let's be honest, the Herondales are the most brooding, tortured soul type since Angel, and quite frankly, I'm not exactly sure if I like them. I'd rather them go Angelus, if I'm honest. If they could go Angelus for a book, that'd be fine. I'd love that. And not in the self-sacrificing idiot way, I mean proper evil, soulless evil, trying to destroy the world types. But I'll take what I can get, quite frankly, because the rest of the story is really good and I quite like the rest of the characters. So, yeah, I'll part with the brooding, tortured soul, even if they don't go Angelus. Next prompt is Drusilla the Insane, which is to read a book with black and red on the cover, so I'm going to go for the second book in the Still Prince series, because obviously this cover is very black and red. Also, I just really want to read The Still Prince 2 because it also comes out this month. Honestly, October is like the busiest month for new releases and I'm very excited for it, despite the fact that I'm on a book buying ban, apart from books I've already pre-ordered. Next prompt is Darla the Sire, which is to read the oldest book on your TBR. So I'm going to go for the light fantastic. I recently read The Colour of Magic, really enjoyed myself. This is the direct sequel to it, so I should probably read it. Also, this has been on my TBR, or at least in the house on the shelves for as long as I can remember, so possibly since childhood. So it's definitely been on the TBR for a very long time, even if I didn't know it was. Next prompt is Anya the Betrayed, which is to read a book with a good vengeance plot. So I'm going to go with this fourth Sandman book, which is The Dream Mist, I want to say. I've completely forgotten what it's called, but it's the fourth Sandman book. And I double checked this and it does actually have Lucifer trying to get revenge on Morpheus. I can't remember why, but he is trying to get revenge on him. And I really badly want to read more of this series. It's really creepy, really murdery as well, so perfect for Halloween. And I just really badly need to get through this series before the TV show comes out and also before the 5th and final season of Lucifer comes out, because obviously the Lucifer in Sandman is what Lucifer in the TV show is based off of, so I should probably try and finish reading that series. Next prompt is Faith the Bad Girl, which is to read a dark or taboo book. So I'm going to go with Death Note for this, because it's just coming at my library. I am picking it up in 2 days, because I currently have it in reserve, and I'm very excited to read it, quite frankly. It's going to be my first manga. I'm very excited to read it, and I do feel like it's going to be quite dark, considering it's called Death Note. I mean, it can't be light and fluffy with that, can it? It really can't be light and fluffy with that. Next prompt is Kendra, aka The Other Chosen One, which is to read a diverse book. So I'm going to go again with the second Still Prince book, because obviously quite a few of the main characters are POC, and it is written by an LGBTQIA+ author. Next prompt is Dawn the Key, which is to read a book centred around a sibling relationship. And I'm going to go for the second Lock and Key, which is the sequel to, obviously, the first Lock and Key by Joe Hill, if I remember rightly, and it's basically a horror comic about a family and a group of siblings moving to a new haunted, very haunted house after their father is murdered. And there's a whole load of ghosts and weird and creepy doors and stuff like this the whole way through. Thoroughly enjoyed the first one, cannot wait to read the second one. Next prompt is Tara the Lost Lover, which is to read a book with an LGBTQ+ character. And for that I'm going to go with Tone of Voice, which is the sequel to Failure to Communicate. I recently read Testing Pandora, which is the prequel. I read Failure to Communicate last year and I remember quite a lot of it, so I'm not going to reread it, mainly because rereading things slows me down. And I'm just going to go into the latest book, Tone of Voice, where the main character is bisexual. There is also two other characters, well, there's at least one other character who's bisexual. There's also another couple as well who are in a female-female relationship. There's just LGBTQIA+ characters everywhere, and I absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to read this one. Next is Riley the Rebound, which is to read a short or quick read. So again, I'm going to go with The Still Prince 2 because it is a graphic novel and I'm going to get through that very quickly, like I always do with graphic novels. Next is Joyce the Mum, which is to read a book with a strong mother character. So I'm going to go with the third Infernal Devices book, again, Clockwork Princess, because I feel like Charlotte is very much, even though she isn't the mother of any of these characters as far as I know, that may end up being a plot twist, but at the moment I'm unsure of that, but she does treat everybody like she is their mother in a sort of tough but fair way, which I really enjoy. Next is Big Bad, which is to read a book with a formidable villain, and is there any more formidable villain than Voldemort? So again, Deathly Hallows. And then Deathly Hallows is coming back out again for the Scooby Gang, which is Squad Goals. Read a book with a strong friendship group / found family. And obviously Harry, Ron and Hermione are a very strong friendship group, despite the fact that I'm not entirely keen on the ships in this, if I'm completely honest. But also Harry found his found family throughout this series with the Weasleys and Hermione and everybody else. So I'm counting it on both sides of this prompt. And the final prompt is The Hellmouth, which is to read the largest book on your TBR. And for that I'm going to go with The Diviners again, because it is massive. I'm not entirely sure if it's the biggest book on my TBR, but it's certainly up there because it is huge. Now, for every single book I read, I can defeat a new villain as part of this readathon, and if I manage to read all of these books, I'll manage to defeat Glory. Now, I know for a fact I'm not going to get through all of these books. There's just no way. So instead what I'm going to do is aim for defeating Faith, because that's just 9 to 10 books and I think I can do that. Maybe there's quite a few graphic novels in there, so hopefully I can manage it. Also, I should mention that quite a few of these books are quite scary to me, in the sense that they're really large, or they've got some semi-negative reviews or things in the reviews that's making me go, I may not actually like this after all. So I also have an alternative TBR as well with replacements for all of these. So hopefully I should be able to defeat Faith no matter what. Hopefully. Touch wood. Pray for me on that front. Seriously, pray for me, because I'm very scared that some of these books I'm not going to like, but I want to read them anyway because I bought them for a reason, so I should, read them even though I'm slightly scared of them. If I do end up DNFing them, I've got the alternatives, it's fine. But that's going to be the end of this TBR, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below with what you're reading for October, especially if you're taking part in Slayerfest. I'd love to know. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here. And over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time, guys, bye.